It's good morning to the Gelding. Gelding, after a brilliant Cup day, we're now on the third day of the Flemington Carnival, Oaks Day. Can we keep it rolling, especially to all our new viewers, Gelding? We hit an all-time high on the number of viewers for our Cup Day program.
Good morning, Professor. Good morning to our listeners. Yes, thank Christ for without a fight, Professor. Paying $9 in the Melbourne Cup. So recovered well from Derby Day and Cup Day with a $9 winner, Professor, in the Cup. So all evils are amended, and we hope that our listeners, and we had a rather large crew for Cup Day edition, Professor.
Well, without mentioning the numbers, Gelding, we had over tenfold, almost 20 times more than the numbers we normally have watching us. So we must be doing something right.
Oh, he must be, Professor. I keep going to the front door thinking someone's dropped off brown paper bags for me, but there's been none as we go to air now. None yet, Professor, but maybe they're waiting for the end of the carnival.
Well, maybe they'll make their gratitude known in some other way, Gelding.
And when their pockets are full, Professor, yeah,
exactly.
We'll have to give the A tips and the B tips, eh?
All right, Gelding, we're back to a 9-race card. I love these. Talk about fluctuations in betting, Gelding. Fluctuations in the number of races. It's hard to keep up with at the moment. Anyway, 9-race card today. The first at 12:40 p.m. The last, Sportsfan Stan wouldn't be happy, Gelding. The last at 5:50 leading into the 6 o'clock views. He wouldn't be there for the last race.
Would Sportsfan Stan be there for the Oaks at 5:10? What time do they run the main race on Tuesday, Professor?
Gelding, he'd be over. You remember the old fish and chip shop in Derby?
Yeah,
Derby Street, just across. Yeah, he'd be over there getting his fish and chips.
Beautiful. Couple of scallops involved there, would there?
Sometimes, Gelding. Sometimes.
Nothing beats the nice scallops from the fish and chip shop, Professor.
Exactly, Gelding. All right, the feature. Oh, I know he likes scallops. A regular viewer of the program, Schooner, likes scallops.
Beautiful. He might have some now without a fight to take a bit of that wallpaper down and take it to the TAB.
Did you like that photo that we were sent from Schooners? he had a lot of wallpaper there with used tab tickets, Gelding. I couldn't see any collectors there.
Oh, well, good. Glad that he listened and was on without a fight, Professor. He might be able to afford the half a dozen scallops now with a $9 winner.
All right, Gelding, the feature race 8, the Oaks, over 2,500 metres. The track's a good 4. The rail's out 5 metres, Gelding. So just moved it out a little bit further.
Oh, Professor, as I text you and another listener, Chris from Geelong, formerly of Barwon Heads, formerly of Mordielli, who knows what the track's going to do? Day one. 2/3 of the races, you have to be 1 or 2 at the 800-metre mark. Otherwise, you got no chance, and you can't make up ground. So then we don't get any rain. So the committee advised the racetrack, we'll just water the track. So it basically started off as a top 5 on Cup Day, and you had to be a back marker coming down the centre of the track to be a winner. No leaders won on Cup Day, Professor. So God knows what it's going to be. At least I was glad we got natural rain yesterday and last night, and a bit of rain predicted today, Professor. So look, hopefully we'll be on a good 4, and hopefully all horses get an opportunity to run. But as we say normally, Professor, look at the first couple of races and see whether a bit of a pattern's forming.
Exactly, Gelding. All right. What are your 2 best bets for today's Oaks Day meeting?
Professor, I'm going a bit later in the day. My first bet will be race 7, horse 4, Mumbai Muse, trained by Michael Friedman. And Tommy Berry has come down from Sydney to ride today and is on this horse. Look, it's a tough race, but Mumbai Muse at round about the $5.50 when I last looked, Professor. It's a Group 2 place getter in a 3-year-old in a Group 3 race. So, yeah, down in grey, hopefully, it can win again after winning last start in a listed race up in Sydney. So, look, hard race, plenty of chances, but I think round about the $5.50 each way, Professor. A nice little one in Mumbai Muse. Now, we then go to the main race, the Kennedy Oaks, on at the time-honoured 10 past 5, Professor. Again, we can't help ourselves, Professor, as I profess my love of the Blue Army. Again, they have their horses. They've got that many of them, and they place them in the right races. This 3-year-old filly, Zardoza number 2, trained by James Cumming, ridden by James McDonald, to me just has the right form, Professor. Ran on Saturday in the Wakeful Stakes. Ran second, just beaten by Gabe Waterhouse's Amazon Lass. But as we said, Gay's horses, they like to get out in front and lead, Professor. And on a day like Saturday where you had to be leading or second, this horse managed just to hang on. Zadorzo came from well off behind, was one of the few horses to make a lot of ground, Professor. Out of the last 30 runnings of the Oaks, as I said, almost 2/3 of the horses have run on the Saturday in the Wakeful Stakes. I considered Sadosi was the best run in the Wakeful Stakes, Professor. So the logic behind it, if I'm looking for the best runner on Saturday in the Wakeful, I come up with Sadosi, and we'll be backing it today at around about $3, Professor. So, which, it might be, around about the $3, might get out a little bit. Hopefully you might get $3.20 later in the day and maybe $1.60 a place, Professor. So my two were race 7, horse 4, into race 8, horse 2. And you like, Professor?
Yeah, Gelding, going a little bit earlier than you. Going with the local trainer for the first selection. Race 4, the English Bracelet, a 3-year-old plus open race for fillies and mares over 1,600 metres. In that race, Gelding, I like horse number 6, Climbing Star, coming out of barrier 3. It's had 10 starts for 1 win and 4 placings, so only a 10% win rate, 50% place rate, though. It's a Zoo Star mare, Gelding, and we've had some dealings with Zoo Star progeny.
We've had some luck with the Professor, yes.
And so it ran second in the Group 3 Moonga Stakes last month. It ran in a Group 2, the Rose of Kingston Stakes, only lost by 2 lengths to Life Lessons from fellow Pakenham trainer Peter Moody. So I think
your favourite.
The form's good. Craig Williams is in the saddle. It's, as I said, trained by Phil Stokes, showing $3.20, Gelding. I think it might start a little bit higher than that. I think might drift out in the market. So yeah, I think wait, don't take the fixed now. I think wait to see what the starting price is.
I think that's pretty good advice, Professor. And you're staying away from one of mine and one of Giraffe's favourite horses in Foxy Frida.
Yeah, I saw Foxy Frida was there, Gelding, and that's probably it is the favourite in the market at the moment, and it's probably the threat to Climbing Star. But I think just on what I saw in the film work, I think Climbing Star might be the race for it.
Okay. And you think a good day for Craig Williams, Professor?
I hope so, Gelding.
Okay. I hope we're not willowed with it.
So do I, Gelding. All right, my second selection's in race 5, the Century Stakes, 3-year-old plus listed race over 1,000 metres. I've gone for the Blue Army, Gelding. I'm taking a leaf out of your book in this race. Number 1, Spacewalk, coming out of barrier 7. It's had 18 starts for 5 wins and 8 placings, so a 28% win rate, 72% place rate. A winner at its last start over 1,200 metres in the Group 3 Rising Fast Stakes, Gelding. It's been either first 3 times or second 2 times over its last 5 starts. So that includes the Group 2 Caulfield Sprint.
So, I know, Professor. Don't tell me about it.
I had to mention that one, Gelding. I had to mention that.
It hit the lead 50 metres out and was just run down, Professor.
Yes, it was, but I think today might be its day, Gelding. As I said, James McDonald, the premier jockey in Australia at the moment, in the saddle, and James Cummings training. So my 2, Gelding, race 4, horse 6, Climbing Star, race 5, horse 1, Spacewalk. And so if we can't make $1 there, then we can't make $1 ever, I don't think.
No, we hope our listeners have been following us, because they'd be showing a profit, Professor, and all of those horses, as you said, will be round about the each way mark, maybe a bit under, but all with good chances. And as we said, we do like the old parlay, Professor. Speaking of, you've got a very good parlay. Well, you've got a very good Professor's parlay going at the moment from Tuesday. Do you want to remind everyone, Professor? And we hope they're on.
Yes. Well, Cup Day, our race leg of the parlay, Gelding, was without a fight, which paid the lovely odds of $9. So that's certainly got us interested in what this parlay might pay.
Oh, well, excited, Professor.
And we parlayed that into Arsenal and the Dallas Cowboys. We haven't, obviously, those matches haven't been played as yet. So that one's sitting there waiting in the wings with what might be.
Oh, I'm looking forward to the Texas already, Professor.
All right. So today, Gelding, our agreed bet of the day is race 8, horse 2, Zardozi. And I think that's an excellent bet. And let's parlay that into the same 2, Gelding. Arsenal to beat Burnley. And the reason why, that's a tautology. The reason I've gone for Arsenal, they're 4th on the table, 1-7 from 11. They've got a plus 14 goal difference. Burnley, second last, only 1 win for the season, a minus 19 goal differential. Huge odds for a Burnley win, huge odds for a Burnley draw. So I think Arsenal at home will be too good. And let's parlay that into the Dallas Cowboys to beat the New York Giants. Dallas, 5th in the NFC. They've won 5 of 8, a plus 72 points differential. They've got a very good offense, Gelding. They're scoring an average of 27.5 points a game. New York Giants, exactly the opposite. They only score 11 points per game, Gelding. That's not many wins. They've only won 2 for the season out of 9. They're 13th in the NFC. They've got a minus 116 points differential. That's huge, Gelding. So when you consider that the Giants are losing by an average of about 13 points a game, then that's almost 2 touchdowns they lose by each game.
Exactly. 2 converted touchdowns, Professor. So it is 2 touchdowns, but it's just under 2 converted.
That's right. And the Giants had the stigma of losing to the Raiders, and they didn't just lose to the Raiders. They lost to the Raiders 30-6, Gelding. So you'd be happy your voice got up.
Yes, very good, Professor.
And the line, Gelding, 14.5. So the bookies don't think much of the Giants' chances. Dallas playing at home, always hard to beat there.
Right, and in pretty good form, Professor.
Yeah, so
the had the one hiccup this year.
Sorry, Gelding?
They had the one hiccup this year for us.
Yeah, when we were on them.
The weight of expectation.
Exactly, Gelding. So the parlays are Daisy into Arsenal, into the Dallas Cowboys. So hopefully there's some value there for the punters.
Yep, and hopefully they're on board and can collect not only from Cup Day but also today.
Exactly, Gelding. So that leaves us with, there's one meeting to go after today, Stakes Day on Saturday, and we can look forward to that, and that's racing.
Yeah, Professor. What used to be Family Day and the relaxing day of the carnival, the VRC have ramped it up. So we look forward to our show, 10 o'clock on Saturday, Professor. What time do you think the races will start Saturday?
Ooh, Gelding. Well, two questions. What time will they start? How many races will there be?
Oh, I might go 10 races and 11:30 start, Professor. How does that sound?
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And Gelding, what we omitted to talk about on Tuesday, we were talking about it in the run up to the show, but I omitted to say it. But the best bet for Tuesday was a rates rise, and we were both right.
Yes. Yeah, not good for our offspring, Professor.
No, not good at all, Gelding. All right. Well, until Stakes Day on Saturday, and that's racing. It's good luck.
And good punting.